We're gonna get our acceleration here with the XC90. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Volvo XC90 T6 Momentum. First and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Volvo here in downtown Salt Lake, Utah for giving me some time with this XC90. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get right into the video. So under the hood, we have a 2-liter supercharged and turbocharged 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 316 horsepower and then 295 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 19 around town and then 27 on the highway. Now let's go over the front end of the XC90. So first off, I really like this body line right here. The white paint hides it a little bit, but you can still see it pretty prominently. Now coming down below, notice we've got the Thor's Hammer LED accent light, and then you guys can see the headlights as well. Super, super bright. And then we've got Volvo's signature front grille here with the Volvo logo there in the center portion. Looks great, and you guys can see there behind the grille just a little bit. And then notice that you've got some more venting down here. This is all closed off on the side. You have some parking sensors that have been integrated very nicely to the front end, so they don't really like get in the way of the design at all. And other than that, that's the front end. So coming around the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And if we take a closer look at the wheel itself, you can see that you've got the dark gray, and then on top of it, you've got that silver. I think it looks really good. And then you guys can see a little bit with the suspension here in the front end. Notice that the fender flares are body painted, which makes it look a lot more premium. And then you've got the mirrors, which have also been body painted. We've got the rails there at the top, and then notice all of this is just body color as well. And then we'll take a quick step back so you guys can see the full side view of the XC90. So here's our key fob. We've got the Volvo logo there on the front, and then notice that we've got the lock, the unlock, and then the opening for the hatch, which is actually a little car depiction. I think that's pretty funny. But anyways, pops right open. Now popping here into the rear, notice that we've got a 12-volt back here. We have all of our floor mats with the car, and then notice that we do get a cover right here. It says Volvo on it. If we lift up the cover, you've got this handle right here you can lift up, and that's where the spare tire lives out its days. Hopefully you never have to use it. I really like this trim right here. I think that looks very premium. And then as for the seat, pretty self-explanatory. There's a little label right there with the latch where you just pull that and then that throws it forward. That's how much space you have if the third row is folded down. Well, at least half of the third row, right? Notice there's a vent right there, and then also right there. That's pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, that's everything for that portion. Now, this does have the kick thing, but you also do have a button here that you can press, and so you have like both of them available to you, whatever you want to do. Now finishing things here in the rear, notice that we've got Volvo's signature lights here on the back, and then we've got all of our regular logos, parking sensors here along the bottom as well. And other than that, well, that's the back. Now here's the door panel at the front, so notice that we've got some nice trim here at the top, and then you've got beautiful wood trim down below, and I'm glad that they went for more of a matte finish on the wood. I think that looks fantastic. And then really nice leather where you're gonna rest your arm. I love the look of the door handle on top of that. And then here are these seats. So you guys can see you've got that same leather as what you have on the door panel, so it all matches. And ooh, the cushions on these are fantastic. Now it's got that nice metallic plaque, but let's pop in quickly. So you guys can see here, legroom's great. I'm about 6 foot. Boom. And then notice we have our own climate zone here for the rear. They also get heated seats, which is pretty cool. Got some vents back here. Now, as for the third row, headroom is actually pretty good back there. Legroom is a little bit more on the small side. You can fit adults back there. But what I'd say is for long road trips, reserve it for kids. But if you're just, you know, going 20 minutes or whatever, you can fit adults back there perfectly fine. It's a relatively comfortable place. Again, just a little bit more on the cramped side, but it's kind of expected in this segment. Anyways, let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel in the front. Notice we have the same design as what you have in the rear, which I think is cool that they carried that over. We've got our memory seats, which are integrated into one of the speakers. That's pretty interesting. I love the look of the controls. And by the way, this doesn't smudge. Normally when you have black trim like that, it usually smudges. Does not. So Volvo's figured out the secret to life. Anyways, notice the door handle right here. And there's a quick look at the mirror. And then we got the seats here at the front. So same as what you have in the rear, and the cushioning is just as nice. These seats are so comfortable. And then notice that you've got your adjustments on the side of the seat, pedals just down below. That's the opening for the rear hatch. And then notice again, more wood trim here on the side. All looks really nice. And there's where we'll look before we pop in. Now here is the steering wheel, and this thing that I love that Volvo does. So notice we've got the white leather here on the interior, and then you've got the black leather on the outside, and it just looks really cool from a design standpoint. And here's the reason why it looks so cool. I've said this in other videos, but I just want to like explain this in this video. When you look here in the center, what you see is a bunch of white, and then you see white down there. And then when you look on the outside, you see the black here, and then you see the black on the dash, and so it just kind of like transfers through. Really, really cool attention to detail. Got the controls for the center stack, voice command controls. I've always thought the little head there looks funny. And then your pages button. We've got cruise control on the other side. Got the turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. And that's all for the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. It's a full digital readout. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. The graphics on it, and then obviously you've got the navigation screen there in the center. If you guys remember from my series in California with the new V90, and then also with the XC60, it's just really helpful having the navigation right there front and center. And yeah, that's all for that. Now here's the center infotainment system itself. First off, we're gonna pop it into reverse. You guys can see the backup camera, and notice you can turn off the parking sensors and the lines right here. I like that they have that shortcut when you have the camera on, so you can be like, you know what, I don't want lines. Whereas most other car manufacturers make you have to like go to a different menu in the infotainment system to do that. So yeah, Volvo's made it easy, and the lines do turn with the steering wheel. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, I think it's very nicely integrated into the dash, and also response time with it is fantastic. And there's a ton of different stuff you can see. So like we can go to drive performance, for example, which isn't going to be great because this car hasn't really been driven. So like, you know what, it is what it is. But anyways, just tons of stuff that you can go through and customize with it. And then the climate controls and everything are easy to use. So like if I want to turn off the heated steering wheel, if I want to change the temperature as well, just notice how easy everything is to use with the infotainment system itself. And that's all for that. We've got analog controls there for like the radio and some climate stuff as well. The shifter for the 8-speed automatic, it does have a manual shift function. And then we have the wireless phone charger right here, and you can push that wood trim back if you want. And then notice the nice leather trim here. Got the engine stop start. We've got the parking brake right here, the auto hold, and then more cup holders with more wood trim you can use to cover that. And then we do have the center console right here with some USBs inside of it. Nice leather padding there on the top. And overall, I like the look of everything, again, with all of the nice wood trim. And then you're probably wondering how you open up the glove box. Well, there's a button right here. And that's what opens up the glove box. Fancy stuff happening here in the XC90. And then, oh, of course I didn't close it all the way. It's a typical Ben Hardy move. We do have a full panoramic sunroof right here. You've got the controls for the sunroof just right with that button. And I like how the headliner matches like the seats and everything. It all looks really nice together. So there's quite a bit of glare, but I think that you guys can see the window sticker for the most part. So just freeze the frame if you want to read everything that comes here with this XC90. And then you guys can see the optional equipment right there if it'll focus. But anyways, there's a total MSRP, $61,950. And, well, I gotta like squeeze between these two cars so I can give you guys the full side view. Wait for it. Let's take it out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off here on the XC90. There's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, then the rest of the rear. And I forgot to mention, but like, I love the look of these headrests. Anyways, let's set off. So we're starting off here in the XC90, and let's talk about the road noise and ride quality. So first off, from a ride quality perspective, something that is just like a Volvo trait is very, very smooth ride quality. I've noticed that just across the brand, and I really like it. I will say though, I've noticed that, and I mean, this kind of just makes sense, the Volvos that have the air suspension versus the non-air suspension Volvos, the air suspension ones definitely ride smoother, but I mean, that's every single car when you add air suspension to it. So just know that you are getting something for getting, if you do get the air suspension. Now, moving on from that, from a road noise perspective, very nice insulated cabin, and you really don't hear a whole lot happening on in the outside world, so that is fantastic as well. That just really takes you out, which is great. And I do want to mention these seats. Like I said earlier, tons of cushioning. They are very comfortable. These seats are great. You definitely feel like you're just in a really nice luxury vehicle, which I am really hot for some reason. So we're gonna turn off the heated seat. Boom. Again, look how easy that is to use. You just press the button. Other manufacturers need to take note on just how easy the controls are to use in the Volvos. But yeah, seats are comfortable. So from a luxury car experience, it does a very good job. We're gonna get our acceleration here with the XC90. That's cool. You've got two compression points on the pedal. So you have the I just need to get up and move, and then you've got the I need to get up and really move. But what I will say is acceleration is solid, actually. But I do want to mention, you guys know that I've recently reviewed the new B6 powertrain, and even though that has less power than this, I kind of prefer that powertrain, like how it delivers the power. This still does a really good job, but it doesn't feel quite as like linear or as punchy as the new B6. And again, this has more power. It's crazy what Volvo has done with that new e-charger. But again, this is more than adequate. And so let's get into summing things up here with the XC90. So first off, exterior styling, I think that Volvo nails it. Now, obviously, they all look somewhat similar to each other. They have, like, obviously their brand styling like every other brand. But the XC90 still has a good amount of road presence because it's just so large. It's not like crazy out there, massive, but it's pretty large. And it has this like imposing status to it, I guess is the best way for me to put it. Like whenever I see one, I know that's the XC90. Definitely stands out. And then interior wise, I really like this interior. I like the wood trim everywhere. It makes it feel classy. I like the white. It makes the interior feel a lot more open and airy, if that makes sense. Seats are comfortable. Technology is great. It comes with a bunch of safety tech. It's very comfortable to drive. It's smooth. It does a really good job overall. And so for the rating, I'm going to give this version, so this particular XC90, a 7.5 out of 10. Now, the other versions of the XC90, which I do plan on reviewing for the 2022 model year, they're probably going to get a higher score because there's different powertrains you can get with this, and that plug-in powertrain that has tons of power, that definitely is going to get a much higher score because that thing is just awesome. It gets great fuel economy and it has really good performance. But this version of the XC90 is great. It's a really nice third row luxury SUV. And so if you're looking for just a high quality third row luxury SUV that is comfortable, that is reliable, that is great, this version of the XC90, go for it. You'll love it. Now let's kind of sum things up for our video on this 2022 Volvo XC90. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Volvo here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this XC90. Again, I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below. Go check them out. I'll see you guys.